Good evening, everybody. I'm so excited that you made it tonight and well today in this busy month. And I'm very happy to see a lot of new faces and old faces. So thanks for coming. We have a lot to learn tonight so we can make the difference in how we're gonna vote in this election in April 21st. So I'm just gonna thank our guests, Terracia, Council Cesar del Aguila, City Council Canek Aguirre, and our main guest.
No, not you.
Jackson. Thank you so much. We have representatives of every chair from the Fairfax County. We have, I was looking at a chair from FCDC, and we have Paul David, that is the Black Caucus chair. We have Irv from the Jewish Caucus. We have Reggie for the PPI Caucus. We have, are you representing? Nobody? Yes. Well, we have this. Oh yes, of course, voter education. So thank you everybody for coming. Oh yes, and Mona here, and she is representing that American Arab caucus, right? So I'm gonna pass the microphone to Terracia.
Hi, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you today?
All right.
Are we excited to be here or no?
Yes.
All right. And Carla, who just came in, who is the president of D-Love, Democratic Latinos of Virginia. Thank you, Carla, for being here today. And I also want to recognize Russell. Russell is from the Black, and help me with the title.
I'll help.
Please, sir.
Northern Virginia Democratic Black
Caucus. Northern Virginia Democratic Black Caucus. And it's because of Russell that you're here, because he triggered me to say, we got to get in touch with Jackson. So thank you, Russell. Glad to have you today. Well, first of all, I want to say again, thank you for being here, and I want to thank you to our wonderful host, Maritza, who is an amazing human being, who makes things happen by just snapping her fingers. That's why we're all here. But the other part of it is we need to recognize her because I think you were just recently reelected in your position. And we're very, very happy about that. And you have a new secretary, and would you like to stand and introduce yourself?
Yay.
Yes, welcome to our world, the Democrats, right? Well, without further ado, I do want to talk about why we're here today. So about a month or two ago, after talking to Russell and a few of our other leaders in Virginia, we know we've got a big job ahead of us as it relates to redistricting. This vote is more important than anything that I've seen in my tenure. Yes, sir. Is it not? You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. So this vote is one of the most important votes that I believe that I've seen in my tenure in supporting democracy in Virginia. And it's so critical that Jackson has been named to be the lead, one of the leads who's helping us educate our communities about why it's so important to vote yes. And so we're going to hand the mic over to him in just a moment. But I do want to ask you all a couple of questions. How many of you actually know what the redistricting effort is about? Do you feel that you're educated enough, you can share it with your friends and family, and they have an appreciation of what you're talking about? That's really, really good, because many times when we're talking to community members and civic organizations, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And there's certainly a lot of misinformation from the other side, right? So part of what you'll learn today, and I hope you take away from this experience, is how important it is for you to have the right messaging, the right tools, the right FAQs, so we can share it with all of our constituency to make this happen. So before I turn it over to Jackson, I'm going to give our elected officials a couple of moments to speak. Sir, would you like to go first?
Sure. Thank you again so much for the invitation. How much time do I have?
You have 5 minutes.
5 minutes, great. I wanted to make this interesting. By the way, for the folks that do not know me, my name is Cesar del Aguila. I'm the former chairman of this great Fairfax County Democratic Committee. I'm currently on my 4th term as a Herndon Town Council member. I have handouts, because you guys are Democrats and will appreciate this. Please take some, pass it down. Take some, pass it down. And I want, it's a quiz, share back there. Can anyone spot Can anyone spot the Democrats in this photo? If you do, holler it out. Where are the Democrats in this photo?
Yeah, I need one of those.
For those that don't see, folks are hunkering down. The flaming arrows are coming at them, and we ask, can they do that? We are too intellectually honest. We adhere to the rules. We play by the rules, and do not remember that the other side doesn't give a shit. Okay? And there are people, Democrats, who still today will want to play by those freaking rules. When the other side says, screw the rules, it's about power, and I want to subjugate you brown, Asian, black people. Because there is a shift in this country. It's a microcosm in Herndon. Herndon is a majority minority immigrant community, just like the county. Herndon, we're bumping up against 70%. And there are people that still want to align with Republicans like Joe Manchin, play nice. Let's not do anything controversial. But in the meantime, those of us that are getting stepped on need to accept it. And those that want to align with us get shit upon. Because you want fairness. You want fairness for people that want to love freely, that want to worship who they want to live their lives the way they want, that want affordable housing. This is what we're up against. There are no longer any nonpartisan issues. There are the folks that want to maintain power and those folks that want a seat at the table just to have a voice. We are the Democrats in that illustration. We have for too long played by the rules and wondered why the other side doesn't play by the rules and cry and bitch and moan when we get our asses kicked. When they go low, we go high. That is dead. People want us to fight. They expect us to fight. They voted for a felon because he fights. People are tired of politicians just doing enough to get along and get paid. So I'm here to tell you, I will do whatever I can to get the vote out, to get this information out. I got a show on Monday night, by the way, Inside Scoop, my colleague back there. We're getting this message out. So whatever I can do, thank you for your time. I hope I get my house.
Thank you so much, Canek.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Canek Aguirre. I'm one of the city council members in the city of Alexandria. It was not far from me to cross the border over here, but anyone that knows me well, Canek will travel. I like showing up in Prince William and Loudon, down here in Fairfax County, Arlington. You even sometimes find me in Richmond or down in Tidewater. But that's what it's going to take. It takes us going all across the Commonwealth, right? We have to connect with everyone, not just up here in Northern Virginia. We got to make sure the folks in Richmond know, the folks in Tidewater know, the folks in Roanoke know, because that's how important this is. My colleague Cesar is 100% right. People aren't playing by the rules anymore. And if we're trying to play by the rules, we're just going to get even more hurt. Right now, we have a great mailer. It's going to be in English and Spanish. The other side, they're sending a mailer too, and they don't care that they're lying. They're lying in their mailers, openly. I mean, it's really disgraceful, but what are we gonna do? We're not gonna send them to jail. You know, the system right now isn't working, so we gotta make sure that we're turning out votes and that we're showing up to the polls, and we're making our voices heard, and we vote, right? I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw the maps, I was like, oh, it's a little rough. But you know what? This is what it's going to take. This is what it's going to take. Because we had a sitting president call a governor in another state and say, hey, I'm in trouble and I don't want to lose my majority. You need to change your lines. Mid-season, you can't, like, it's unprecedented. It's only happened a couple of times in the history of the country where a state decides to redistrict without going through the census first. It's ridiculous. Hey, that's already out the door if they can do that or not, but yeah, I think, let's pull this one back up, right? But you know, what's so frustrating is that the writing's on the wall. We can all see it. Grocery prices, gas prices, they're all up, right? Healthcare, the costs are more expensive. Communities are being terrorized. Innocent lives are being lost. We have to stand up. And I think in Minnesota, they were doing a great job. They were exercising their First Amendment rights. They were out there, they were videotaping, they were whistling, they weren't in the way. And what did ICE do? They came out and they killed people. That was the only wake-up call where some of the Republicans in Congress started saying, ooh, I don't know what that looks like, right? But that hasn't stopped. It's still going. And so if we want to have a shot at changing things and stopping what this administration is doing to all of our individual communities, but to our country as a whole and to our global community, because now we're in a war that the president said, I'm not going to do any more foreign wars. Now we're in a war in Iran. Right? So if we want to do something about this, we have to be able to win back in the midterms in November. And this is where it starts, right? We have to offset what's happening in the other Republican states where they're trying to redistrict and get new seats into Congress. And what I remind everyone, look, even if you don't totally like it, this is also a temporary move. Because in 2030, guess what? We're going to have a census. And we're going to have to redistrict again. And we're going to go back to Virginia's bipartisan way to looking at it. But if we want to take action now, this is what we have to do now. And we cannot wait.
I need more of an applause than that, folks. Thank you both very much for your leadership and setting the bar for the rest of us. Thank you so much. I do want to mention one thing, and Jackson, I really am getting to you. I know. But I do want to talk about what Maritza and many of the caucuses have talked about. And we do have Luisa here from the Arlington Latino caucus, who we had a session this morning with that community to talk about these very issues, and Jackson was there as well. But one of the things that we've been honing in on in our strategic planning is around the coalition building that will allow us to win in the midterms. We know where the Latino votes are, we know where the African American votes are, we know where Asian votes are, we know where all of our sort of different communities are. But we can only win if we work together. And that means working together when we go out and knock doors, working together when we sit down and build our strategies and say what communities need our help the most. It's that kind of building that we have to get to in this round. We don't have another opportunity at this moment again. And I think this is the time where coalition building is the only way we can do that. So I leave you with that to think about. Beyond hearing these great messages today, think about it when you go home, when you meet with your separate groups. This tri-caucus strategy, this multi-caucus strategy was no coincidence. We did that because we know that's where the power of the vote is in Virginia. So I'll leave you with those words, and then I'll turn it over to our esteemed Jackson Miller.
Look, so this is a high information audience. I've spoken with many of your groups before over these past couple months. I'm going to distance myself from the static. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackson Miller. I have the honor of being the field director for the Yes campaign. Many of you might have seen me driving around Senator Louise Lucas last year. And before that, I probably passed through Fairfax on the Harris Waltz cane ticket when I was the organizing director in 24. Born and raised in Chesterfield, and until y'all kick me out, you're stuck with me for the time being. Also, to clarify, there's no relation between myself and the Jackson Miller from Manassas, who was kicked out of his seat by Lee Carter and then Michelle Maldonado. I say that because I actually have been kicked out of plenty of Prince William County Zooms because they assume that I'm a spy. For good reason, right? And look, it's hard to kind of add upon what the gentleman up here said, but I do also think it's important to acknowledge that all of us have been hit with a lot in a short time, right? Our cups are full, and not in a good way, right? Our cups are full and it's overflowing, and it's easy to get frazzled. And I think just like the gentleman said, I think some of the best things that we can do right now is name all of it in the simplest and most concise terms, right? When you see these mailers that are weaponizing racial terror, when you see these text messages that are saying our governor is actually a no, when you see these other mailers that are trying to weaponize their own identities, that is their end game. That is the strategy. Our opposition has taken all the L's statewide year after year after year. They know that when we play our game, that when we run our race, they will lose. And so instead of actually building power with voters, they're throwing everything at the wall without any sort of shame, without any semblance of shame, right? It all started with these lawsuits, and there's a reason why you don't see those lawsuits up in Fairfax or in Arlington or Alexandria. They found their guys down in Tazewell, in Lynchburg, in Abingdon, right? They want to shop their judges to first question the legitimacy of this whole thing, to foster distrust and anxiety around our election process. Then as soon as the Supreme Court greenlights this referendum, then they hit us with the disinformation, they hit us with the lies. And that is exactly what we need to be doing every single day for the next 38 days, is name it in real time. It's a lie. Don't need to say disinformation or misinformation or academicize it. It's a lie, right? It is a lie, and just like what they've done in past cycles, they will continue to do this. Why? Because when we only have 38 days, there is a legitimate cost when we are, can everyone, I'm sorry, do you mind if I project? Can everyone hear me if I just project? All right, cool. They know that because if we only have 38 days, and we are spending 1, 2, or 3 of them freaking out instead of getting this message out to voters who have no idea an election is happening, or they might see the Obama commercial during March Madness, but in their minds it might be a November thing, or it might be a next year thing, when really early voting has already happened for a full week. That's how we lose. They know that's how we lose. And so the best thing we can do is name it in real time. It's a lie, right? It's a lie, and this division, confusion, and anxiety is their end game, right? They know the kind of power that we can build, especially in Northern Virginia. This is where our votes are. This is where we have to turn out. And so I want to thank everyone here, not just the electeds, but also the leaders of various caucuses, because it's this kind of coalition building where we can actually move the ball forward in a united front. It is very clear that even if it's our leaders, if it's trusted community voices, or if it's anyone with any type of authority in their community, when our opposition senses weakness or uncertainty, they will pounce on it. That's exactly what they're doing now. And so to stand here as a united front is the best thing we can do to make sure that everyone has all the information they need to make their voices heard. And so when messaging this, we have found that it's effective to anchor our message in 3 buckets. Number 1, just recognizing that this isn't a random election that's happening. It feels really fast. It feels even faster given all the lies that are circulating both online and in the mail and just in our social circles. It feels like a lot, but this has been brewing ever since Trump called Greg Abbott and said, "Find me more seats," right? What started in Texas, we are going to finish in Virginia. While they rig their maps behind closed doors mid-decade in an unprecedented way, we are taking this to the voters. It is our 250th year of democracy. We have to take on that responsibility to walk the damn walk and showcase to the rest of the country that our democracy is not only alive, but it is thriving. That we will check this administration, we will put legitimate guardrails against Trump's unchecked power, and we will hold the line for a path to elect a majority in Congress that reflects our interests